Hello folks, my name is Mark, this is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? So this is a video about terrorism, specifically homegrown Islamic terrorism. So now, as I'm sure you all know, this past week here in San Bernardino, California, there was another mass shooting in which 14 people were killed. The difference this time is that this one appears to be on the surface to be terrorism related. You know, the shooters actually was a married couple, and an Islamic married couple who went into a holiday party for the San Bernardino County Department of Public Health and shot 9 people dead. Sorry, 14 people dead. Sorry. Too many shootings, you get them mixed up. And anyway, since then the country has been kind of losing their minds. So everybody seems to be, you know, it's oversaturating the news now. Coverage of this shooting is just everywhere. It's on 24/7. It's on every news channel. It's the only thing that the news shows and the conservative radio shows and everything else. It's the only thing they talk about. I even saw a thing where a story where they all of the news cable networks, like, they opened up the apartment of this married couple, and all of the news cable people just rushed in there and they started looking at things and speculating and all that other stuff and disturbing evidence and shit like that. And it's like, it's kind of disgraceful if you ask me, but whatever. The thing is, but people have been asking me, like, not just like people online, but like my friends, in general, like, well, hey, aren't you afraid? I mean, shit could happen, right? And it's like, not really. I'm not afraid, and the reason why is because shootings like this happen all the time in this country. They happen pretty much every single day. I mean, a month, not even a month, like 5 days before this shooting, there was the Planned Parenthood shooting in Colorado, where a right-wing, anti-abortion guy went up and shot 9 people dead in a Planned Parenthood in Colorado. A month before that, there was a guy named Chris Harper Mercer who went into a community college in Oregon and killed 10 people, and wounded 7 others. I mean, this kind of thing, it's so incredibly common. Just look at, in fact, there's a website called shootingtracker.com where you can go on and you can see how many mass shootings there have been in 2015, and it seems like it's nearly 1 a day. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous, So why should I be afraid? Why should I be more afraid to get shot by a terrorist rather than just some other ordinary nutbag? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, I mean, I'm not afraid at all of that. Now, secondly, I'm also not afraid of terrorists trying to infiltrate the country. So, if anyone who's hasn't traveled abroad lately, it is a pain in the ass to get in the United States. There's like, when you're entering the USA, it's a major pain in the fucking ass, And I can only imagine what it must be for people who are not citizens. But even for citizens, you have to go through, like, 6 different lines and get this and that stamped and all this other shit. And it's like, and they search you going in and out, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, right? But it's definitely, I'm not afraid of I'm not afraid of terrorists trying to fly in or whatever, But the thing is, if that's what you're afraid of, you got to keep in mind that this guy was not, from the Middle East, right? This guy was born in Chicago. He was an American citizen, and he was radicalized here in this country. So if what you're afraid of are, getting killed by this kind of terrorism, then you should be afraid of every single person in the entire country, because everybody has the potential to be radicalized, and it's just like, and that's the thing, is that this guy didn't receive any help from ISIS. They didn't give him any money. They didn't give him any training. They didn't give him, they didn't give him his weapons. His weapons were obtained here legally in the United States. So it's like, why should I be more afraid, of fucking ISIS? It's like, it's bullshit. So no, I'm not afraid of terrorism more than I was last week, more than I was last year, because this guy and his wife, you know, they fit the mold of every other mass shooter in the country, you know, and that being that there were a couple of crazed maniacs who, you know, who were fixated on religious fundamentalism, right, and had mental problems, and they're lashing out at what they see to be an unjust society. And the only way that will ever stop this kind of thing from happening is to do something to restrict the ability of such people to get their hands on firearms, you know. But but that shit's never gonna fucking happen. I mean, you know, in the days following this massacre, gun sales spiked in California and everywhere in the country. People are going out and they're buying guns because it's the same fucking pattern, you know. Mass shooting happens, people people lose their minds. A couple of politicians might speak up and say, hey, we should do something about, you know, gun control. And then the gun lobbyists and the NRA and the libertarians and shit like lose their minds, and they go out and they buy up a shitload of guns. And then nothing ever gets done about it. And that's just, you know, that's what's happening. Nothing's going to ever get done about it because we as a country can't admit to ourselves that it's a problem. You know, it's ridiculous. So just, you know, learn to live with it, right? And just be careful wherever you go. And I guess we're just going to have to just live in fear of being shot anywhere at any given time, everywhere, you know, by some maniac because we're unwilling to do something about it. That's it, folks. Adios.